Hi guys, welcome to Divine Time with Nikki Taylor. Every Tuesday, I'm so happy to be back here with you guys. Let's see. Let's go through the spiel for any of you that haven't been on. If it's your first time tonight, there's going to be one free oracle card. That's the free option. And then if you guys choose to jump and donate, you're going to get a fuller reading, which is going to be a full mini reading. So it's a 3 to 4 card reading. And it's really less about the amount of cards and more about the time that I take to unpack the information for you. Know that $1 of your donation for the fuller reading is going to go to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which is just great. Like, talk about a really good energy exchange. And then know with the free option, the 1 card oracle pull, it is going to be a very small reading. In order, to protect my energy, we keep the exchange kind of even. But I'm excited to read for you guys. So I'm going to start checking the list and see who's getting their readings. So I think tonight, to start with, first we have Crystal Ferguson. She did the jump. And so thank you so much for your donation, Crystal. And so I'm going to shuffle up and I'm going to pull for you. But I want you to let me know that you're here. So leave a comment and let me know that you're ready. And then also, Crystal, if you want to give me like your intention or an area that you really want to unpack information around, that's really helpful. Okay, there's Crystal. She says, hey, beautiful. So Crystal, if you have a question that you want to ask, that's totally fine. So Crystal's been with me for my other readings, which I do a little differently. So for these, Crystal, you can ask a question or you can just give an area of focus that you really want to unpack information around. So let me know when I see that comment. I will start pulling cards for you. And then for those of you, let's see. So I see Hannah Thomas. I see Hopewell. So I see some regulars. I'm really happy to have you guys back. I see a couple names that I don't recognize, which is lovely. I love seeing new people. Remember that I like you guys to comment and give me feedback. I'm here to interact and really engage with you guys. I don't want you to sit in silence. Give me some validation. Let me know how you're feeling. And then when it's time for your reading, let me know that you're here, because I'm not going to start reading if I think you have stepped away from the computer to, use the restroom or get a drink of water or something. Okay, so Crystal says career with a big exclamation point. Okay, honey. We can definitely do that. Oh no, my battery's running low. Okay, let me plug in my computer. Luckily, my charger's right next to me. Okay, just a second, guys. All right, there we go. Lovely. Okay, Crystal, so career. So let's shuffle up and see what information we're going to get on that. Crystal, honey, what would be really nice? If you could take a really big breath into your nose, like you're trying to suck the air out of the room. I'm going to hold that for a moment, and then I just want you to let it out. Really empty your lungs all the way. You can do that a couple times if you want to. Okay, so your cards are shuffling really kind of stiff. They're not wanting to go together. There's a lot of what we could call resistance. Okay, there we go. So I can tell that there's some of that, energy revolving around your topic of career. Interesting. Okay, so I've got tarot cards pulled for you. I'm going to shuffle and pull some oracle cards to help unpack this a little easier. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so Crystal, so I'm looking at your card for the recent past. And you've got the Four of Swords here. Okay, now swords is going to represent the air element, and it really represents our mind, our cognition, our way of thinking, how we perceive things, right? Or how we are experiencing things through our eyes, right? So the way through your lens or your eyes that you've experienced career and jobs, there's been a level of dissatisfaction there for sure. There has been, it's like a pause, like you feel like you haven't been able to make a significant amount of progress. You haven't been able to really move forward. You feel like you've been stuck kind of doing the same old thing. So even if you've had different jobs, it's like the same line of work. It's the same thing, just wearing a different mask. And it's like you feel like you can't level up. You're kind of stuck, right? And that's your perspective. That's how you experience it. There's a feeling of like you're not meeting milestones. And you're just not meeting the general success that you've wanted to make. It's like you may make a little headway, but then it's like there's this invisible barrier that you can't get past. And I can definitely sense that you instinctively kind of feel like it has something to do with you. Like that's just your deal in life, right? Like other people might get to be really successful. And again, success is all about perspective. So whatever successful is to you, however you perceive success, you may think, okay, well, other people get to have that because whatever reason, maybe they have a different kind of family structure, or maybe whatever, you think they have something up on you, right? They have some kind of leg up in life. And that's why they're able to access that. And because of that, you assume that there's some deficit that you have that makes it so this leveling up or this success that you see is unattainable to you. It's like a belief system that you kind of have. It's really important for you to understand that this is not true, right? No matter what deficit you were born into or whatever you feel that you're lacking in order to have the success that you see others have, you're not, it's just not the case. So you may realistically be lacking some of those things that you see in other people. And yet that's not actually what is preventing you from having the success that you see. It's your belief system around it, which is really powerful, right? It's important for you to just really radically accept that, like radical acceptance, like not even try to fight or be like, well, but there's no buts. You just need to believe and radically accept that you can have what you want. You can have your idea of success. It's just important for you to know that. That's like your magic wand. As you move into the present, you've got the Three of Cups here, which tells me you're in a period of connection. And that you're really valuing connection right now. So being invited to things like weddings, graduations, having new people come into your life, going to baby showers or birthday parties, things like that is really important and valuable to you. You want to be in the mix right now. It's a part of your self-development. And the reason it's a part of your self-development is because you get to express yourself in these scenarios. You get to show up and interact and engage and use your voice, and you get to take in information, and it's a really yummy, good thing for you. Now, when we put that in the context of career, the same goes. This is a really good time for you to have new career experiences. to meet new people, get new perspectives, engage with people that maybe you would have never hung out with or met before outside of the workplace. It's going to, add to your self-development, the conversations that you have, the knowledge that you learn, the interactions you have with coworkers is going to be really valuable for you. Before you move into new career, because you do have new career coming, you've got the Death card, which is a major arcana card. And this is sitting in the near future spot. So this is kind of how it unfolds. Now the Death card is, this thing is that death doesn't exist without rebirth, right? It's like a coin and there's two sides to the coin. You can't have a coin without the other side of it. It doesn't exist. You can't have up without down. So you can't have death without rebirth, right? So what that means is endings and beginnings. So you've got this process coming to an end. When I say process, I don't really mean process. I mean more like you have this way of thinking, which ultimately lends to your way of behaving, your way of engaging with what it means to work. That's dying off. It's coming to an end. That old thinking that you had, especially when we're talking about the Four of Swords, which is this belief that there's some invisible thing about you that prevents you from having success. And that's just kind of how it is. And you may think, well, I can have this, but you never aspire too high, right? That is coming to an end. It's time to bring that to death so that you can be reborn, like big wings, big, bright aura, just ready to step into success. So your oracle cards, you've got welcome the new, which is the new career. Crystal says, I'm so impatient. I know, sweetheart. We all are, aren't we? And she says, yes, my ripple. Yeah, the way your aura ripples out. And I like that you use the word ripple because it's like a ripple effect, right? It's the way we think and believe about things determines the way we behave and act, what we accept, right? It's all so integrated. So you've got welcome the new, which is, it's important too to remember that sometimes we think, oh gosh, if I could just win the lottery or if I could just get a break, right? But in reality, many of us wouldn't even accept the blessing if it was right in front of us. Because the reason we haven't gotten the blessing in the first place is because we believe we don't deserve it for some reason, or we believe there's something about us that isn't worthy of it or can't attain it. So even if it were put in our lap, we probably wouldn't accept it, or we would squander it because we're scared of it. We're resistant to it, right? So when it says welcome the new, it's not just about saying, okay, I'm open. It's about getting rid of that old belief system that you're not deserving or worthy or whatever of success. Then when success comes to you, there's an open space for it. There's no resistance or barrier. You've got retirement, which is really interesting. So retirement is kind of the same as the death card because it's the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. When someone retires, they give up a whole way of life. Maybe they were a nurse for 40 years or a teacher or doctor. They give up that part of their identity in order to step into a new identity, right? And that's what you're being called to do, right? Give up the old crystal in order to step into the new successful crystal. And then you've also got an oracle card here, which is family changes. So I think it's really interesting that you talked about being impatient. And remember when I said the Four of Swords, I also brought up that it's about kind of being at a pause. It's like you can't quite get where you want to go. It's like you can't get the let out. Part of that too is because there's been family stuff that's needed to be dealt with. Crystal says, arms are wide open. Good, sweetheart. So know that some of that resistance, some of that lack of change is also because it's created a space for you to give focus to a lot of family dynamics, family changes that have occurred in your life. There's been some drama there that has needed to be tended to, and you didn't have the emotional capacity, the cognitive capacity to give to a full-fledged career, right? because you're navigating family dynamics, interpersonal dynamics, romantic dynamics, right? And so know that that served a purpose, right? So don't be too disappointed in the way things have gone. Give it some love and thankfulness for how it served you, that it allowed you that space to deal with some pretty heavy stuff. And now release it. Now it's time to move on. So it's exciting. I like that for you. And I've told you this before. I'd like to see you self-employed to a certain extent. So when I say a certain extent, I'm not saying you have to go do like a brick and mortar building and start everything from scratch, but I would like to at least see you creating your own schedule and having a say in your pay, right? Because those are the two things I think that can be most toxic about working for other people. Is not having a say in our schedule, having to really sacrifice time with our children or things that we love, and then having to just kind of accept a certain amount of pay that we really had no say in, right? We should be able to think about a number that really serves us for the work that we're extending. So those are the two things with self-employment. So it doesn't have to look like traditional self-employment as long as it encompasses those two things for you. Okay, so we've got another jump. Let's see. So I'm just checking. So I think we've got Kel Hill. It might be Kelly. I think it's Kelly Hill. So if you're here, honey, just go ahead and let me know that you're here and you're ready, and I will shuffle up and pull cards for you. Okay, so LZ says, here, it's me. Okay, so honey, do you have a question or an area of interest that you want to, area of focus, I should say, that you want to unpack? Crystal says, thank you so much. Great as usual. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for coming to see me over here. I'm really grateful that you were able to pivot like that. I'm excited to see you on your journey. LZ says, maybe just general. Let's get just a little bit more specific. It can be general, but let's give it an area, just because I think it's better for my energy tonight. I'm a little tired. Energy has just been intense with some celestial things that have been going on. And so I just want to guard my energy tonight. So I think I feel a little bit better with some direction so that I can narrow in the amount of information that I'm receiving, because it's a lot to process. So if you need some suggestions, it doesn't have to be like career, love, anything like that. It could be like, how do I take care of myself better? How do I love? Okay, gotcha. Love's a good one. Now's a good time to be reading for love. I'll tell you that. Okay, thank you, sweetheart. So I'm going to shuffle up and pull for you. Sorry, sometimes I have to shuffle the cards quite a bit until they feel right. It's like shuffling them is really like a physical manipulation of energy. Just like when you go to the chiropractor and they manipulate your spine, that's a manipulation in the physical world, but you're also moving energy, which is why a lot of people will kind of feel emotional when they get chiropractic release. It's kind of the same thing with tarot cards. You're physically manipulating them, but there's also energy underneath. which is kind of how everything works in the material world, actually. Not kind of, it is how everything works in the material world. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I've got your tarot cards pulled. Let me get you a couple oracle cards here to take a look. Okay, let's see. Okay. Interesting. And then, Kelly, are you in a relationship right now, sweetheart? Is there someone, because there's like an energy that's close to your field. So I can't tell if you're still with them or if you're separated and their imprint is just still really close to you. Yes, you are in a relationship. Okay, that makes sense. Sometimes when we've broken it off, even for like a fairly significant amount of time, like a year, their imprint can just still be really attached to us. And so I just wanted to make sure that I was going to process the information correctly for you. Okay, so when I look at your first tarot card, it's sitting in a past position, but it's talking about like historical patterns when it comes to love for you. And so this is going to be this historical pattern is definitely with the relationship that you're in. So this is kind of how it's unfolded. It's the 9 of Summer, which is it's a very positive card. It's a very full, complete, happy card. And summer is, in this tarot deck, is the element of water, right? So that's our emotions, our feminine energy. It's even our intuition, our psychic abilities. And so when we're pulling the 9 of Summer or the 9 of Water, what we're looking at is a really full, satisfied, happy experience when it comes to our emotions and our emotional needs being met. This tells me that definitely, and things may have shifted a little bit, but the bulk of your relationship, the foundation of your relationship is really based on deep emotional connection and feeling really heard and validated. A lot of tenderness there, a lot of, so there's a lot of physical touch. One of you has Taurus in your chart, so you're very touchy and really very snuggly and hands-on, like, he's driving, you're rubbing his neck, stuff like that. Okay. Okay. And so in the beginning of this relationship too, there's definitely a feeling of like, oh, this is the one, like, this is all my dreams being fulfilled. This is the person that I'm going to have children with. Kelsey says, yes, neck and driving. Yeah. The physical touch, it's almost distracting because I can tune into your guys' energy so well. So it's hard to like pay attention to the computer, pay attention to the cards, and also kind of process. It's almost like I'm experiencing it. It's hard to explain, but it feels really good. It feels really yummy and snuggly and warm and cozy. I really like this. Now we move into the present. Remember, that's the foundation. That foundation hasn't left. It has definitely shifted a little bit. Okay. So we move into the present. We've got the 4 of winter here. Winter is representing the air element. So this is our mind and the perspective on the relationship. There's definitely there's worry going on. I can't tell if this is on your side or his side. I think it's a little bit on both. I know that you have some self-care that needs to be done, so I'm assuming that the bulk of it's on your side. There's worry about the future in regards to the relationship that is really getting in the way of that snuggly, deep connection, right? It's creating a little bit of a barrier for you guys. Worry about if you guys are going to be okay. I'm not sure if there's a worry about finances here, but it feels like there's some worry concerning finances. And then there's a lack of rest. And when I say rest, there's definitely the sleep isn't like the best quality, but also your mind just never gets a break. Like you're constantly worrying about things, right? And you're constantly trying to kind of plan for the future, and see where you need to detour in order to like pivot around discomfort, right? And a lot of that is because the foundation is just so warm and cozy and snuggly that you don't want to lose any of that. It's hard to face any discomfort in this relationship because it feels like a red hot alarm. It feels like, oh God, everything's crumbling, when really it's just the natural ebb and flows of things. It's hard though when you started out like so connected and warm and yummy. You know, as we go through the natural ebbs and flows of relationships, and we get irritated with each other, we have our first fights, we go through trials and tribulations together. It's hard to not take those sour times and go, oh God, it's the, castle's crumbling, the kingdom's coming down. It's really not that. As you move into the near future, it's important for you to find some more independence outside of the relationship. And now when I say independence, I don't mean that you're like codependent on him emotionally. I don't feel that. I don't feel like you're particularly dependent on him in the physical realm either, but it's more of a like your thought processes are consumed by him and the relationship, and thinking about what you want it to be and what it could be, and all of that. I'd like to see your mental processes be given towards your own self-development, particularly when it comes to career and beautifying spaces. So I'm not sure if you've got some Libra or Virgo in your chart, right? You do have Libra, Virgo in your chart, but it's almost like I'd like to see you painting, your bedroom, or helping a friend decorate their space, or even doing it professionally. You have this knack for organizing energy in the material world, which is why it came up when I was shuffling your cards in the beginning. Okay, so you needed that example because you manipulate energy in the material world. So you can walk into a room and go, this is off. That couch needs to move because that doesn't feel good. And that pink color on the wall makes me anxious. You have a real gift for that. And it's important for you to do that for yourself, for your own space. But it would be lovely if you could do that for other people and make money doing that, helping people organize their space and shift physical objects and color palettes and things like that in a way that makes them feel better and at ease, because you have a natural ability to do that. I'd like to see you working on and developing that and allowing that to consume more of your mental processes than worry about the relationship. Kelsey says, LOL, I love to draw, and I'm currently remodeling a 4-bedroom house, painting tomorrow, all rooms. Okay, lovely, 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 lovely. You're on the right track then. You didn't need me to tell you, but there's your confirmation. Allow yourself to be consumed by that. Allow yourself to just feel the joy of the process and know what you're doing is energy work. You're a healer in this way. So enjoy it and be really proud of yourself. It's a yummy time for you. As far as your oracle cards go, it's all about self-care. You've got new exercise program. Okay, so if you are an energy manipulator in the material world, well, it's not just about moving objects around. Your body needs to move and express and move energy too. You need to be dancing. You need to be doing yoga. Tapping is really good. Just this on your body. It seems so dumb, but it's not. It's powerful. This gets energy out, okay? You've got self-care, which is you really tuning into what your self-care is, right? So it's not a one-stop shop for self-care. We go, oh, self-care, I'll take a bubble bath and a face mask. Well, maybe that's your self-care, or maybe your self-care is something else. We know part of it is physical expression, like we just talked about, but I'd like to see you tune in and go, is my self-care being in nature? Is it taking a bubble bath? Is it practicing your art? What is your self-care? And then you need to participate in it. And then you've got some brothers and sisters, or a brother and sister, having some kind of rough time or some kind of life change, some pivot going on. I'm not sure what that's about. It comes up, and I'm not receiving a lot of information about it. This could be significant other. Do you have a sibling who's passed, actually? This is interesting. Okay, so Kelsey says, no siblings who passed. Okay, interesting. You've got this energy of like, it's like a sibling because it's definitely in your peer group. Okay, well, it's not, I'm not like connecting with them or anything like that. That's why I asked if they passed, and my energy is not with it enough to do mediumship tonight. But I'm not sure if you've got the brother and sister having some kind of difficult time. I'm not sure what that looks like. Let's see if I can get, okay, so whatever's happening with sibling, know that it's part of their expansion process. And so maybe they haven't, told you this yet, or maybe you're not aware of it yet, or whatever it is. Know that it is a part of their expansion, which means growth, right? And so let that give you some peace, whatever it is. All right, sweetheart, I hope you got what you needed. Okay, so we've got another jump, which is Taylor Washington. So Taylor Washington, let me know you're here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Kelsey says, my childhood best friend committed suicide 5 years ago. Okay, so I have to say, when we're talking about siblings, and this isn't me trying to stretch it, but when we talk about siblings and someone in your peer group, and then we think of a childhood best friend, when we're children, our friends are our siblings, basically, right? Like they are our first, their socialization, all of that stuff. There's a component there that is really similar to a sibling relationship. The reason I asked about passing is because of the energy that comes through is like a hindsight kind of past energy, but with this barrier. So know that was part of their expansion. I feel weird saying that because it feels a little cliche, but I would just let it give you some peace, because that was the whole point. Is I was feeling like I needed to let you know, like, it's going to be okay. It's okay. It's for their purpose. So I hope that gives you a little bit of peace. Okay, so Taylor Washington says, I'm here. Hi, sweetheart. Okay, what's going to happen between Edward and I? I'm reading to give it up. Do you mean ready to give it up, or reading, like you've been reading tarot cards for yourself, seeing that you should give it up? Ready to give it up. Got you, sweetheart. I'm just interesting. It doesn't really change the information. I just wanted to make sure that I just wanted to hear you right, because it's nice to be heard correctly. It's valuable. We need it. We need it. We need it. Okay. So the Edward thing is definitely over. It has served its shelf life. Okay. Oh, Taylor says, oh, I'm sorry, back. Okay. So stay with me. Don't go away from the computer, because I won't repeat and go through the reading again. Okay, sweetheart. So be present, be ready. Okay. So looking at your tarot cards, And I don't know if you heard me, the Edward thing has expired. It's served its shelf life, my love. So your instincts on ready to give it up is perfect. Your intuition's spot on, sweetheart. You're ready to provide and follow your navigation. I love that. I can see that you've got this major arcana card in your past, which is the Tower. Now, I mean, look at the image on this. It doesn't look good, right? Now, the thing about the Tower is it's really about things coming to an end in a way that can feel really painful. It can even be suffering, right? It can be devastating even. Sometimes it's not that severe, but it definitely is a little bit of knock you on your ass kind of energy. Now this sits in your past. The reason that happens is because we tend to get a little bit stubborn or distracted, and the universe, Taylor says, oh, wowzers. The universe, you can use whatever language you want, will give us kind of signs over and over again, like, hey, this isn't really working. But we're too distracted to see it, or we want to hold on it because we believe that there's no other option, right? Well, if I give this up, and it's providing something for me and I need what little it's giving me, but it doesn't work. It's not serving us, right? It's taking more than it's giving. But we won't let go for whatever reason. And so the universe comes in and goes, okay, well, I'm just going to push you off this, right? Or I'm just going to take it away from you. And we feel like super devastated, like, oh my God. But really deep down, if you really peel away the layers, we knew it wasn't working. We knew it had to end sometime, right? Now, it's nice when it doesn't end like that and we collaborate with its end, right? And we're able to recognize and bring it to an end a little more gently, because this way definitely feels abrupt and kind of devastating, but it always serves us because it gets us away from whatever wasn't working. Taylor says, right, with a little emoji with tears. Yeah. And these can be pretty powerful. Now, you've got that sitting in your past, which has told me that you've been knocked on your ass, right? And your first instinct was probably like, what? The universe is so unkind. And, probably a little bit of self-pity, which is totally understandable. Some devastation, some fear, like, man, the world is kind of a cruel place. But underneath it all is this feeling of like, okay, but really, I knew that was coming for a while. And then also this reluctant knowingness of, and I know that I didn't really want that. As much as it hurts to lose it, I still didn't want it. Now, sitting in your present, you've got the Nine of Cups. This is beautiful. I read this for a gal earlier, and I don't read all the cards the same, but here again, it's talking about that Tower moment that you had, my love, really brought you into a space where you were able to finally connect into your heart space, right? You were able to go, okay, so here's the things that my heart really desires. Here's what I really need. Now that I've had the bullshit kind of cleared out unwillingly, here's what I want to feel emotionally fulfilled. She says right again with her tear face. Oh, just one second. Interesting. Okay, so honey, where's the Pisces energy coming in? Is Pisces a partner, or do you have Pisces in your chart? Do you know? You might not be a sun Pisces, but are you rising moon Pisces? What's this energy? Sorry, I had to stop because Spirit wanted me to pull this card, so now I have to ask what's going on here. Pisces is your Lilith. There we go. So it's definitely in a spot that's causing you a little bit of trouble. And then someone is a lover. Okay, that's really interesting. Okay. But I don't like him, so. Okay. Okay, that's fascinating. So having Pisces in your Lilith, and I'm sure you may, if you know your chart deep enough to know where your Lilith is, and you're probably already aware of this, but having Pisces in your Lilith is really going to be your kryptonite. Is going to be the illusion of things, right? It's going to be the fantasy. It's going to be getting into relationships or participating in things in your life based on some kind of fantasy you have revolving around it of what it could be or what you think it is or how it makes you feel. Even when the facts aren't supporting that, right? That's going to be really important for you to navigate. Now, tower moments are going to come extra hard to you when you have a Pisces and Lilith, because you're going to be deep in the fantasy, and it's going to be like, just pulling the blanket, the blindfold off for you, which feels really jarring and like, wait, because you don't go into the fantasy because you're not stupid. You believe it, and it comes from a heart space. It comes from, that's what you want, and you believe that you can create it to be so. And to a certain extent you can't, but what you don't have is control of other people and their free will. So while you can will in some really beautiful things, you can't do it with someone if they're not collaborating with you. So communication is going to be really important for you, letting your partners know, this is, and you don't have to use the word fantasy, but this is what I see for us. This is how I feel about us and what we could have and what we do have. And then get them on the same page. See if they can collaborate with you. Then you're not going to have the tower moments. But when they're not even aware of what you're dreaming up for the relationship, they can't participate. They're on a different page. And then the universe finally comes in and goes, this is not working. Like, it's got to be done. Okay. In your near future, you've got the King of Swords here. It's interesting because Swords is the air element, which is about our mind and how we perceive things. You have Gemini in your chart too. And so it's really important for you to be more precise and undiplomatic with your thinking, unwavering. So you might have some Libra in there too, honey. Woo, you got a lot of stuff in your chart. Because what happens is you tend to be more of a queen energy when it comes to your mind, which is you want to please the people. You want to be out getting flowers. You want people to like you. You might have some trouble making decisions. Whereas the king, he's not messing around. He's making decisions. If the people don't like him, too bad. It's about brass tacks, right? He's making sure that the country doesn't go bankrupt, or that the Commonwealth is safe, all of that stuff. You have to get more strategic with how you navigate with your thinking, right? Not to remove yourself fully from your heart space by any means, but to not get yourself into trouble by letting your heart lead to the point where you're not looking at the facts and you're not, making decisions based on just the flat out facts. That's really important for you to start integrating that into how you approach love and really life in general, to be honest, with the Pisces and Lilith. Your oracle cards are get some rest. That's so, so important. There we go. So Taylor says Gemini in Saturn, which is causing you restrictions. And then you've got your Libra rising. And so you need to get some rest. Remember, that's physical rest. Make sure the quality of your sleep is really good, not just the quantity. No electronics in the bedroom. Be mindful of what you're eating before bed, all of the basic stuff. But also, I'd like to see you giving your mind reprieve. When you've got a Gemini and Saturn, your mind's going all the time. All the time. You're smart as a whip. You're processing stuff like, but it's a lot of work. Your mental processes are being consumed all the time. Give yourself a reprieve from that. Do a puzzle. Get off electronics. Give your brain a break, sweetheart. You deserve it, okay? And then the other oracle cards are just confirmation that the thing with Edward is over, done. It's time to leave. It's time to move forward for you. I don't want to see you get in another tower situation. So even when you're feeling really yummy and the fantasy is really great, I want you to see if you can find some time, just a small portion, to look at the facts. Okay. So Taylor Washington says, oh my gosh, they always say that. Then yesterday an oracle said, oh, stop sleeping so much. Oh, interesting. Stop sleeping so much. It's interesting that get some rest comes up, but are you saying that you sleep a lot and an oracle is telling you not to sleep so much? But like I said, it's the quality over quantity for you. Now, some people, there's no quantity either. Like they're actually not sleeping. For you, it's definitely quality. Taylor says, right. Do you see any other love coming? Yeah, I definitely see love coming for you, but Ooh, you've got career stuff coming first. So you've got some career changes coming, job changes coming. And then it's really important in, she says, Oracle told you to get some rest. Then I slept, but still feel tired, right? I'm going to say it again. It's quality over quantity. So are there electronics in your room? Did you have a full stomach when you went to bed? Yeah, I mean, maybe write stuff out, get some of that stuff out of your mind before you go to bed. That might help. Do you got some Virgo in your chart too, sweetheart? Because there's some overthinking. A to-do list before you go to bed would be really good for you. That will free up your mind space. Now, when the next relationship comes, I want you to be really true to yourself. If there's any red flags or anything that just doesn't feel good to you, it doesn't make them a bad person or a defect in any way, but I want you to go, it doesn't work for me. I want you to do it right away instead of settling increment by increment, because it's like you give an inch, they take a mile type thing, and we don't want to do that anymore with you. Okay. Let's see. Virgo, Sun, Taurus, Moon. There we go. Okay, so that Virgo is that overthinker, which is why the to-do list is coming in. I want to see you literally, if you can make a to-do list before you go to bed or write stuff down, it's going to take it out of your auric field so that you can get some rest. I'm a Virgo Sun as well. So your astrology comes through really clear with me. My astrology comes through pretty clear for me in general, but I can really feel it in your energetic imprint and how you navigate based on it. Okay. So we've got another jump, and thank you, Taylor. I really liked engaging with your energy. Interesting. Taylor says, write all the time. I would think my past relationships would be serious lessons. Yeah. Okay. So Blanca D jumped, but hopefully this will be my last. I think you're coming to the end of that, and I think you're really self-aware. And so I don't see you having any major hiccups, and I think that you know what to do. You know. You're so with it, girlfriend. Like, you're good. Okay, so Blanca D, let me know you're here, sweetheart. Blanca D. There she is. Okay, so Blanca says, do you see any good opportunities coming my way? Anything good is helpful. Cute emojis. Can I get cards? Yes, sweetheart. Okay, let me shuffle up and pull for you, Blanca. Do. Okay. Okay. I've got your cards pulled. I'm going to shuffle it and pull a couple oracle cards for you. Oh, sorry, that's probably loud. I try to shuffle on paper. It's like startling. Okay, honey. So Blanca, as far as opportunities coming your way, I think your biggest thing that's coming your way, let's replace the word opportunities here with you with offerings. What offerings are you being offered? What blessings are you being offered? And you've definitely, the biggest one is an understanding, right? It's the King of Cups, which is Cups represents water, and water represents our emotions, right? How we navigate our emotions. It represents our intuition, our psychic abilities, our feminine energy. Now the king is very established, very firm, very secure. The king's very secure, right? He's a safe foundation. He's got it handled. The king understands. And so here the offering or the blessing that you're being offered or opportunity is to have a really firm handle, understanding of your emotions, to have more structured navigation with your emotions, right? So the opposite of structure would be chaos. Okay. So right now your emotions are more up and down. They're a little harder to navigate. You definitely are more easily triggered. You might find yourself getting irritated, mad, sad, easier than what you'd like. Things that really altogether have nothing to do with you, right? Or things that maybe shouldn't affect you that long. Maybe they should just upset you like in the moment. You're not able to process it super quickly. So you're moving into a space where you're able to just really let stuff roll off your back. You're not having the up and down emotions. It's just more of a steady, firm, foundational kind of emotional experience. Your feminine energy is more balanced. So definitely some hormones doing this as well. You may experience like hormonal acne or really painful periods. You probably PMS like crazy, like super, super bitch, right? I'm one of those. And that is coming to an end as well. You're being offered more stable connection with your cycles, so that you're able to care for yourself better. And again, you're not having these emotional ups and downs. I can see that you have a historic experience with injustice, which is having things taken from you when you didn't have a say in it. This includes people, having things being taken out of your life without your permission, which is injustice, right? And this is definitely people in your life have not been there. They've passed. Blanca says, yes, this is true, but trying to stay positive for new beginnings. Yeah, there's no reason not to be positive because that emotional compass is going to really even out for you, honey. It's going to be easier to navigate some of the other things like work, finances, living situation, and thinking about where you really want to be settled down and what you want to experience. What do you want when you wake up and look out your window? What do you want to see? So navigating some of those bigger pivotal changes in your life is going to be easier if your internal navigation isn't out of whack. Okay. So that's all good. And also give yourself some grace because it has been hard to navigate those other things I just said when you're navigating so much inside, rough seas inside. So be kind to yourself. That's a lot. And you've been doing a good job. You've been doing the best you can. Again, historically, you've experienced some injustice, which is people and things being taken from you without your permission. It is a time in your life now where it's really important for you to take action. It's time for you to raise your hand. So you've got take action, but in your oracle card, you've got volunteer. Now, volunteer isn't always about like volunteer work, right? It's not about volunteering like at a shelter necessarily. It is volunteering for things. It's raising your hand and saying, hey, I can do that. Now, in order to volunteer, we have to have the confidence to raise our hand because a lot of us are timid and we're like, well, I can do that, but probably not as good as that other person, or I can do it, but maybe I don't have the energy. It's about saying, no, I can do that and I can do it well. It's allowing ourselves to be seen and also taking on responsibility, allowing ourselves to be held accountable. Because once we volunteer for something, we need to follow through or else our reputation is at risk. So historically, you've been worried about your reputation. 2, you don't want to sign up for things or commit to things because you don't like the feeling of it hurting your reputation somehow from not following through. Blanca says, yes, you're right. Lots of loss. Your oracle cards are finances. I do see that's something that you're going to be able to navigate and expand as soon as we get those emotions navigating easier, because they're just distracting, right? It's hard for you to focus on that when you're so distracted, which is totally natural. And then you've got heavenly signs coming through. So know that you've definitely got at least one male presence who is very close to you and is very present. And so take some comfort in that. And I think the biggest takeaway from this is the volunteering. So it's nice that you came for this reading tonight, because what's going to happen is maybe you wouldn't have come tonight and you would have been in this position where it was time to literally like volunteer and kind of step up to the plate. And maybe you would have just gone with your pattern in the past. But now that you've heard this, it's going to kick in your head and you're going to go, oh shit, this is what she meant. Right? And so that's really lovely. So I love that for you. So now you're kind of a step ahead of the game. So I hope that gives you, I see good things coming from you for you, but I think the other big takeaway, Blanca, is I really want you to know that you really have done the best that you can. Stop beating yourself up so much. Like, you're so hard on yourself. Like, you're so worried about your reputation too, like others thinking badly of you. She says, yes, I do. Thank you. Everything. It's so true. Thank you, Nikki. You're welcome, sweetheart. Be easy on yourself. You deserve it. You're doing a good job. Not everybody is in the same boat. Everybody's navigating rough seas, but some people are on a cruise ship. Some people are on a raft. So give yourself some credit, because you've been doing a lot of hard work, honey. Whew, it's a lot of energy tonight, guys. The celestial occurrences have been heavy. And the way that I process energy, it's been intense. So I hope you guys are all feeling good and taking lots of good care of yourself, getting rest, drinking water like your life depends on it, and eating to nourish yourself, right? Eating to really feed your cells. So thank you guys for coming. Thanks for all the donations tonight, guys. Blanca says, thank you. You're welcome, honey. I'm always so grateful for the donations. It allows me to be here and be present. It allows me to extend my time to you and to practice what I love doing. And then, $1 of those donations go to the Children's Hospital, which is so lovely, St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and it supports the families and the children. So it's just all around really good energy. So I'm really grateful, guys. And I'll be back next week. I think things are calming down in the skies, celestial next week. So I think my energy will be a little more up. But thanks you guys for coming, and I will see you guys next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, 3 hours later Eastern. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Now what's this now?